Good morning, it's sunshiny and my indigo garden is out. Oh yeah, we're gonna try and sit on this for decoration only bench in the front of our yard. I think this might be the year that we repair this bench. But here, let me share a few of my flowers. Hold on. Let's see, where's the flippy? Oh, there it is. So we've got the coneflowers, cornflowers, can't remember. We've got, this is what I've come out for. Look at those hascaps. Woo, I'm going to be picking those. Glad everything's nice and wet. I'll get to it first. And look, there's a bee, Ooh. These are my favorite moments. Yeah. There's quite a few of them in here. Let's flip it back around. And so, happy after Father's Day. Not to mention, is it not the focus on men's mental health this month? It's funny. Yesterday didn't quite go as planned for me. I was gonna wake up and make a special breakfast for my hubby for Father's Day, and no, I was having quite the migraine. I have a few suspects that I held in regard, and then because of that, I was able to apply, I guess, more of a right fit remedy for it, and it did work. I'm still kind of on the other side of it, but I'm on the other side of it, but not fully. So today gets to be my rest day, although yesterday felt like it should have been my rest day, but it was more of a rest day with pain. And yeah, Saturday was a lot of busy because we had our women's event, and that went beautifully. That was fantastic, so lovely. I won a prize. My mom won a prize. It was so cool. And the message that we did and the little activity that we did was so enlightening, so it was awesome. So yeah, so as I sit here underneath the moist bush on the semi-moist bench here, because it rained heavily this weekend, which is great, and now it's fully sunny, so today's going to be nice and hot and moist, and I keep dropping my berry. Okay, here we go. And I haven't fallen through the bench, so I guess we're good. And, oh, got smutzed. Anyways, my point being, reflection. And it's funny because I put in the title, To the Father, and it was a nod to my neighbor who had recently passed away, because he sent out and delivered to the bulk of us neighbors here Mother's Day cards, and it said, to the mother. And at the block party that we had, so our neighbors all got together to share a meal just shortly after the rain, and in the midst of the Oilers game. Oilers Panthers, yes, they're playing the Panthers, let me be mindful. It's like, it's just the Oilers. Sorry. But yeah, we were all reflecting on the beautiful card that we got. And it's funny, some said that he just signed the name, but I'm grateful for the message that I got inside my card. And yeah, it was lovely. And it looks like I might be able to have some delphiniums this year. What's the deal? Okay. Truck just pulled up in front of my house from the municipality. So, but I think it's for my neighbor across the street. Anyways, I'm gonna have a berry and I will continue our conversation. So, the other thing that I was reminded of this weekend, being around Father's Day, and I made sure to say a happy Father's Day to our resting fathers, as well as our fathers who chose to take a day of rest. But, and I'm not sure if you've seen the movie. I believe it's Kubo and the Three Strings. Probably should have looked that up. Anyways, where it's an interesting movie that goes into describing a dispute between a daughter and her father and her son. And she sacrificed her life for her son. And she gave him some key things to remember throughout his life so that he could stay safe. And when the time came where he would confront his grandfather, in which his father was in a state of not, her grandfather was in a state of not remembering who he was, what they chose to do in that moment. Wow, look at all these bees. Sorry. Good timing, I guess, in noticing the bees at the same time. Yeah. Ooh. We're the popular place again. This is awesome. Anyways, bee energy is really good energy, just saying. Their buzz is healing, are known to have healing properties. Anyways, back to the movie story. He didn't know who he was. And the people decided to remind him of who he was and how he was, even though it was not how he was in the first place. And they spoke with accolades and remembered with such joy and stating things with such presence. And you know, you would have to think someone who doesn't quite remember who it is they are and did not live a life that did any of those things, that even as they were being described of him, he sat in the resonance of it and the goodness of it, and it put a smile on his face and made him stand with his shoulders back and proud. And it made me realize if we can, in a moment of surprise, of a moment of, I'll call suspended reality, which is technically what surprises are for, that we can plug into those moments, the accolades, the celebrations, the rememberings and appreciation. If we can plug in the goodness, if we can plug in words that describe our best, if we can open ourselves up to receiving ourselves, as knowing ourselves as good, in the moments where that negative self-talk, story, narrative is on pause, if we can even decide to say, hey, you might be right, negative narrative, but can I put you like elf on the shelf? Can I put you in suspend for a moment? Can I click pause? Sure, you're right. I just want to hear and be in the presence of receiving this other word on my life. Can you imagine how that would lift up, how that would transform, how that would change, how that would feel? Not even as an accolade, not even as just to bestow upon somebody else, but imagine doing that. Yes, sweetheart, not right now. Shh. Yeah? You're hopping closer? I do not feed these birds, let me tell you. Okay, so I put some bread out this morning. Yeah. It needed to go. That's a whole other story. I know. Thank you. Yeah, it was the bread. Anyways. But if we can suspend that negative barragement, suspend the attack, just allow ourselves, you know what? I'm just gonna close this door for a moment. Yeah, you're on the other side of the door. You may be my reality. Sure, not a problem. I'm just gonna close this door for a moment and have a moment of silence to myself where I can hear the positive reinforcements, encouragements, word. Because as much as we may have these words or narratives attacking us on one side of our life, we are the fullness, we are wholeness, which means there's a part of us that is also of the good to somebody in their life that is better than their negative barragement in their heads, and we are that positive reinforcement. Can you imagine that? So let's just give ourselves the benefit of the doubt. Yes, fathers work hard. They feel like they're absent a lot. They feel like they've not done enough. My boys shared a beautiful word describing their father, describing the accolades. My older son saying, yeah, there's stuff that, I shake my head at my dad for. He was honest in his sharing. And 5 times as much of it was the accolades. And not just the accolades, but allowing himself to express that he sees the humanness of his father. They both did. They both did a lovely job. And after, there was a number of people sharing how, wow, this really speaks to the character of your husband. This really speaks to the nature of the relationship with your boys and their dad. And I think it's in all of us. It's in all of us to give somebody a moment where they can suspend the one side of life, of reality, on the other side of the door, open that door and all the stuff's on the other side, and just to allow themselves to be gifted the moment of receiving, hearing, and being seen, and appreciation. And I really believe that helps us to move forward in a positive way in our lives. So if we can go out today, is this homework for the week? Can we give homework? Does it have to be work? Everything's work. It doesn't matter. Me picking these berries. I should probably eat one. I love them this year. They're really bitter. I love bitter and sour at the same time. Like, they're so good. It's my favorite combo. It's bitter and sour. because the aftertaste that it leaves on your palate for the most part is sweetness. Isn't that funny? I love it. Love it! It's like stevia and apple cider vinegar. But yeah, that's a whole other story. So, homework. Share an encouraging word with someone this week. Let it be a compliment. Let it be a noticing. Let them know that you've seen them, that you're seeing them in their essence, in who it is that they are, in their moments, in their life, in their efforts. And then look in the mirror and see how you can see yourself. Can you see yourself? Can you allow yourself to be seen by you? So, I hope you have a great week. I'm going to enjoy a few more of these berries and take tons of pictures of the bees in my indigo garden. And I will share it with you guys in the stories. And I hope you have a great day. Take care.